Hello, everybody. I know it says 9 p.m. Listen, I'm usually on top of my game, but lately there's a lot going on in my life. So, pardon de moi for putting it 12 hours late. You guys know already my schedule, right? Like Wednesday and Thursday is always 9 a.m. PST. Sunday is 7 p.m. PST. And then Fridays, we get our audio out for the MP3. That is the podcast. Okay. This is live stream. And today it's live stream and on TV. So thank you so much, E360 TV, for having me. And this is what I'm going to give you guys. This is our book. We are going to be at Barnes and Noble's book signing in person. So it's going to be amazing. Really, it's just the whole journey is just an amazing thing being an author, self published author. And then now with having distribution channels pretty much everywhere, we're just so excited that you can join us in this journey. We are actually doing another anthology, Moving Beyond Boxes, with my partner in crime, my dear sister, Susannah. And that is what we're talking about today, right? Support the unsung hero and success stories. And we're going to hopefully have you guys discuss and help us talk about whether you're on Team Replay or watching us live on how important is support, right? But first, I wanted to show you this little um, QR code right in front of you because these people, right, are going to be the farmers. When I say these people, the farmers are going to have jobs. And also, we're trying to get right there when you see a little bit of the map, we see where it's South Africa, Tanzania, Angola, Nambia, and Botswana. So Madagascar, think of Madagascar like I think of it as like the Florida, right? Look at did you see that? Like the south of Africa is like the Florida of Africa. It's towards the end in Madagascar. It's beautiful there. Someday I want to see my trees with my name on there with my sister. Hopefully we can travel and check it out, right? So this morning I am joined by my sister from another mister. So you see this is the moving beyond boxes that we're doing right now. Um, the journey to self discovery. It's going to come out early June, and we have some amazing writers and authors. So stay tuned for the let's see all the authors that's going to be been writing for Level Up Academy. I'm going to give them a space. They haven't known about it yet, but I am planning to put them on my website so they can actually have that extra authority. And the reason being is that my website's actually on like 700, 800 channels or syndicated wires for press releases. So I want to elevate them and amplify their message as much as I can. And then, of course, making sure that we are together on our journey. So these are the 27 co-authors for Beyond Boundaries. That is the one that's coming out in Barnes and Nobles. And the good thing is that we are international. We have Olu from South Africa, right? Ollie from Belgium, and then of course our brother Timothy from Australia, right? And then of course our sister. I keep forgetting that Isabel's not in America. She's actually in Canada. And then the rest of us are scattered throughout United States. Jacqueline and Harsha are joined here in San Diego. I have not met Harsha, but I have definitely met Jacqueline at Barnes and Nobles. 3 months ago, we were talking about it, and now we're going back as an author. So that is so exciting for us. Hello, guys. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Hopefully, you're enjoying your Wednesday so far. It is actually, it's not Wednesday, it's Thursday. What am I talking about? I'm telling you, this week is a little woo woo, right? So, I'm going to bring in my dear sister so we can talk right about now. But actually, before I do that, I wanted to show you also because I'll be looking at this project coming up in June, end of June, which is Level Up Circle magazine. It is online. Guess who's in there? Yes, yes, yes. It is online. I also do the writing for this magazine. This is another brand authority that I do for my community. DM me if you wanted to be in this magazine. Again, it's online, so you can use it online as your authority. And I'm putting it here on TV, obviously. And one of these days, I'm also going to go and walk you through each person on each of the magazines, and I'll open it up for everybody to actually review. It's going to also be on my website. So anybody who deals with me literally will be on YouTube and also on my website to amplify your message. So let me bring in my sister. Let's see if we can get a little music for her to come in. One of these days, I'm gonna make her dance. I swear. um,
It'll happen
right? It was so
someday.
nice the other day. We figured out how we could watch a movie together.
Yep,
Right? That was really fun. Was it Sunday? I think it was Sunday.
it was Sunday.
Yeah, and then we were gonna watch Medea, but we, we're like, okay, we're just gonna go now because I had some gradings to do, and Danielle had to put her baby to bed, and Susannah's like, fine, I guess I can watch my whatever movie right now, or I'm tired, I'm just gonna go to bed, or I'll be editing some papers.
Editing. It was editing chapters.
Yeah, we're always doing something, right? Um, First of all, before we begin and have our conversation, I literally want to make sure that I'm gonna tell everybody how amazing you are as a support person for me, not just in business, right? Because here's the thing, we've been on a business group together where, we're doing the same thing. But when you don't trust somebody, when someone gives you a little weird, like, okay, here's the thing, I pick up on a lot of things quickly, like really quickly. And when I pick up some really bad vibes, I usually run it by you. And I'm not saying that I'm perfect, but I'd say 90% of the time I'm pretty on point on people. And I'm like, hey sis, something's up. Like this is what's this happening, and this is what the person's saying. Like, am I like thinking bad? And I usually don't go in the school of thought of everyone is bad. I think that everyone is good, inherently good, but I think there's some bad habits, right?
Right.
And if you're not self-aware of your bad habits, you're never going to change it, because you're thinking in your head, I'm fine. I live my life, almost 50. I'm good, right? But that's not part of growing. It's not really growing. So I wanted to tell everybody how amazing you are as a support person for me, both outside of business and in business. And I think it's because of trust in your judgment. I don't trust easily. Just want to give that to people out there. There's a lot of things that also, like you talk about, oh, CJ's helped me with my first. I have a lot of firsts with you too. And I don't think I talk enough about it. But trusting friends, like my inner secret and my family issues, I don't do that. I don't talk about that at all. But now apparently I talk about it all the time. So that's a first. Um, Another thing is, just venting and vomiting issues, and you're just so willing to just like listen. And I try to be, because I also get irritated when people tell me the same thing, and they're like, I'm like, bro, you said this 10 times. Are you going to do anything about this, or are we just going to keep talking about this? Right. So I try to be putting my shoes in your shoes, like, CJ, stop talking about the same thing. Are you going to fix it? Are you going to just wallow on it? Like, what are we doing with this? Right. Because I think both of us are very solution oriented. Um, Granted, we do it differently, but we're pretty much the same when it comes to, like, okay, there's a problem. How are we going to fix it? Right. And we also pick up on each other's bad habits because we work together all the time. Part of the bad habits is like, why? But we used to care a lot on certain things, and now it's like, I don't know if that's a bad habit. I guess that's a good habit for mental wealth and health, right?
Yep.
That's definitely it. So, I wanted to get your thoughts on support. How do you see support, sister?
Support is, I mean, it's such a wide topic because I think a lot of people don't realize support can be a very simple as some positive comments, because that will keep us. Sometimes we need those positive comments to keep going. It's like we can try and do this stuff, but for some of us, being an introvert, um, having the life experiences that I have, those moments actually make such a big deal. I can do a lot, but without some of those comments, or without having that person to talk to and bounce ideas off of that I can trust, that's support. It may be my own project, but I have to have somebody. I got to have that sounding board. I got to have somebody who will be open and knows me well enough to know when to just listen and when to start interjecting ideas. Because sometimes we need that. Sometimes we just need somebody to listen because we're working it out in our head. That's support. And then we have somebody who we start spewing out what's going on, and then it turns into a dialogue instead of just spewing and listening. And the dialogue comes in, and it can be just simple comments here and there, or it can turn into lots of comments going both ways.
Yeah, the one thing I really love about our friendship is that most friends sometimes, I think, I don't know if it comes with age, right? Like most friends sometimes, when I remember when I'm young and I'm hating on someone, like most of my friends will hate them back. Like, oh my gosh, I hate them, blah, 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 right? When you're younger, because it's a one sided conversation, like you're just nagging on somebody.
Right.
What I love about our friendship, especially with Danielle too, right? When we're having a conversation, is that um, when we are on a track, I wouldn't say wrong, it's just like in the moment, we correct each other. We don't let each other just stay stagnant or angry or, and we're like, well, let's think about this. What are your thoughts on these things about that? What if this happens to you? What if this is the way, right? Like we don't just stroke each other's ego just for the sake of stroking each other's ego. We don't do that actually. So that's one thing I love about our friendship is we're being honest with each other on how we're feeling, and then saying, okay, don't stay in there, don't wallow in it, but have you thought about this other thing that could happen, right? And it's really important, guys, for support to come. Um, there's like I'm thankful that you said support, also just like support in comments and things like that, because that is really important to have, right? Oh, our brother Ollie's here. Hello, Bachi
It's here.
Lidonia
Sharon's
at
here.
TV. Hello, Sharon. Sharon needs to be on TV with us soon. Um, yeah, that's gonna happen.
It'll
Hopefully, she'll
happen.
she'll put her thing. It's gonna be coming soon. Good morning. Yes, we're on YouTube. I can't see anybody on LinkedIn, guys. So if you're on LinkedIn, I'm so sorry. I push everybody on YouTube because the TV show does not allow it. My Wednesday live stream, I can see it, but I don't. So, brother, thank you so much for being here. Hey, bro, comment in there, and I love you for this. And I didn't even see the karaoke time that you are putting in together. I love singing, even if I'm off tune, whatever. I don't really care about judgment. I think I saw the one in Instagram saying, it wasn't in Instagram, saying like, when you actually stop caring about what others think of you, and when you actually stop fearing the judgment of people and what they say about you, is when you actually have truly have freedom for your mental health.
Hmm.
And I thought about it and I'm like, yeah, because sometimes we say, oh, I really don't care, but you really do, right? We had this conversation about my daughter this morning. I don't think she's watching, she's working. But I'm like really hating the new things that she's exploring. But then I also have to think, stop focusing on what you hate and start focusing on what she is as a person overall, right? She is amazing. She's smart. She's beautiful. She has a plan. She wanted to do this. She's not pregnant. I'm not a grandmother yet. So, like I have to focus on the positive. And I think that's one
Right.
thing that I would support. Some people, though, how do you feel about people, sister, who thinks that support is just that, nothing else?
They're missing a huge aspect that needs to be there when you're looking at support. One thing that's being missed is, and that's how you do it. It's just a tool. Then you're missing out on the gratitude of what that support means. You're only viewing it. I think the way I put it one time, it's just a tool. It's just the stepping stones to get across the river, and then you forget about it. But you had to get across the river somehow because you couldn't swim it. You couldn't. You needed support to get across the river, no matter what, unless you swim it. And not many people are going to be able to do that, especially like in the business world. It would be a roaring river. You got to have something to help you. So when that's all they look at is it's just a tool. They don't acknowledge what people are doing to help support them, to help them grow. I mean, I don't know how many people in this world can really grow without support of some type. How you could ever get to your goals without some type of support.
I was like, okay, so here's the thing. Right here, right? Lewis, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. So, Sharon and Ollie, you guys are so supportive. Like when I see people support me, especially here on like we're hitting 1,000 people right now watching us on YouTube.
Mhm.
Thank you. It's not 9 p.m. I was like, we're not gonna have people today. Whatever, right? Thank you for being here. Almost 1,200. Thank you. I appreciate you, and my dear sister Susannah appreciates you. This is an interesting conversation, but also honestly, guys, you need to self reflect on yourself, right? When someone gives you a hand, no matter how little it is, especially when people give you their time, you need to be very grateful because that is the only commodity that you cannot buy. So when people give you the time, see that as an amazing support. They don't have to give you nothing. They don't owe you their time. You're taking life away from them literally, right? Because they're spending time with you. That you should be grateful for. And I'm grateful for people who takes the time to get to know me, to have coffee chats with me. And thank you for continuing. I think I'm open on September now, so don't fret. Coffee chats are open until September. It's gonna keep going, right? The only way to really get engaged in our TV show and things like that is literally here on the chat. Here's the thing with heart centered people that I've seen, the real one. People will say, I'm heart centered. And then through actions, I see you very clearly, right? You're a user, literally. And if that is your MO, that is on you. Has nothing to do with me, has nothing to do with anybody else. Here's the thing with that, you can only go so far with that until you hit a wall because then people kind of get your vibe that you are that and they're not going to help you. LinkedIn people and our community on LinkedIn and the Hounds of Business community with Mike, with Izzy, with Christine Bell, with you, with Danielle, with Dr. New, with Ollie, with Sharon, right? The Hounds of Business community is so amazing because we have people who Mike filtered to get in to get to know us. I still barely scratch the surface of the people at Hounds of Business community, right? And we have support from there too. But here's the thing with communities that you guys need to understand. Just because you don't see us chatting on those communities doesn't mean we're not personally chatting on the side. Like Mike and I check in pretty much every day, and you sometimes don't see us, and he sometimes come in or whatnot. I'm not so worried about those because we have built relationship and friendship outside of social media. It's so important that you do that. And I cannot wait to actually meet Mike. I'm gonna give him a hard time for sure. This 5 foot tall nothing will give you a hard time. Watch me. Watch me. Watch me. I will get you, you know. Oh, Crystal's here. See, dear sister is here. Oh, speaking of support, before I forget, May 26th, guys, give me one graphic with your beautiful and handsome faces picture with your book that you are actually selling, whatever book that you're selling, only one book, okay? It doesn't matter if it's published with us. I don't care. I just wanted to support my community. So if you know anybody with a book and a QR code, you should actually have the link to the where to buy the book, whether it's in Amazon or Barnes or whatever. I don't care. I'm doing it for free for my community. Another thing I forgot is that on next month, I'm going to turn the heat a little bit more because Susannah and I, in July, I moved it to July, we're going to have an author's club, and literally it's $50 a month, okay? And each month you'll have a class on not just writing but also using software that I use to streamline your process, and
Mhm.
then teach you the prompts, teach you how to create your own book cover, because I want you guys to be self-sufficient. You shouldn't be so codependent on people. You should be able to do it yourself. If I was not heart centered, I'd be like, I'm not teaching you nothing, so you can keep coming to me. No, there are things that I do that you probably won't be able to do, is because it's that hookup, right? And but what I'm doing is teaching you as much as I can, because I'm not forever. No one else. I could die tomorrow, but I would die with full of heart, knowing that I can give you guys back of my knowledge, whatever this thing that's in my head, ADHD and everything, right? Sister, talk to me about my crazy ideas all the time that I bounce to you, and then you just get looped in. Like, how do you feel about that?
Because we're so similar in so many ways. You throw out the idea, and it just I'm not the type that just says, "Okay, fine," and off I go. I mean, you know that there's sometimes you will throw an idea at me, and I need a little bit of time. That's that. I mean, I may have ADHD, but I also have that introvert side. So I have those moments where I'm not quite focused. I need it to percolate. So actually, one thing you're good at is planting seeds. So I will get you will say something, you might even just say it in passing because you know it's not the time to discuss it yet, but after it starts to germinate, is like we have the conversation, and quite frankly, we're even closer to getting it done than if we just started talking about it when you drop the idea. But everything you have, the ideas, the things that we do, it's just so simple. It's just really how it feels. It feels you throw it out there, it's almost like I immediately see what it is most of the time, and we're off and running. And as long as we don't put too many projects on the table at the same time, we'll get through them because our brains are going. And we have, I mean, we may both have ADHD, but we have different types as well.
Kinds. Yeah.
You've got the kind, I look at you and go, dang, I wish I could do things as fast as you. At the same time, if I did that, then when I do my edits with authors, I take more time to do it, but they're getting something different from me, more edit, more learning, more uh, maybe slightly more guidance. And we give guidance differently. It's like we're the same, but we're very different.
Yeah, and that's one thing I love is you need variation, because life would be so boring if we're the same thing, right? Okay,
Mhm.
speaking of projects, A, we have a book signing at Barnes and Nobles.
Yep,
B, I have my Level Up Circle magazine, right? And
yep.
the Barnes and Nobles is actually for Beyond Boundaries, which is this book, right?
Yes, book.
Then, okay, so that's two. Then we have Moving Beyond Boxes. It's coming out in June. Then I have Podcast Circuit with Mike. By the way, people, if you don't know what a podcast circuit is, get this. I'm going to put a network. Think of a TV network like a Netflix, right? Where you have Comedy Central in there, you have horror movies, you have action, you have international, you have all this. That's what I'm trying to do with Podcast Circuit. So if you're not in the hounds of business, yeah, you're missing out. I'm just saying, just saying. And yes, we are going to monetize it, but so whoever has an audio room, a live stream, podcast, whatever, I'm going to put you on the podcast circuit. And if you're in the Hounds of Business, watch for the Mighty Networks because I will be dropping the dates either today or tomorrow. So you can plan ahead on when the time is going to be. For those who are international people, I will try my hardest to make it where it's halfway reasonable. It's not 2 a.m. in the morning for you guys. Halfway reasonable so I can make sure that you guys can actually participate. And what we're trying to do is put all of our shows in the Hounds of Business to make sure that we support each other. Support is everything. And that's why I'm talking about this, is because imagine if you're just me and her talking and nobody's here. We're still hitting almost 1,100 people here live, right? Watching us everywhere in the world. And so that's what I'm saying. Like without that support, it doesn't give you that oomph. And all the amazing people, Hounds of Business, Mike is here, Ollie's here, Crystal is here, Sharon is here, right? Lewis is here. There's so many people who are here with us, and people who are watching who's not even commenting. 1,100 people now, 1110, right? So that's what I'm saying. Excuse my monsters if you hear them. That's Duke.
Oh,
Duke just keeps going.
Duke's doing fine.
Yeah, Duke is crazy. Anyhow, that's a project. Now, Susannah and I will have that podcast circuit June. That's going to be Mike, me, and Kevin. Kevin's going to help me out with that because we have, get this, we have bronze. So people who have their shows can be there. Then we have silver, then we have gold, and then we have platinum. Platinum would be moi, everything that you can get in terms of amplification of your podcast. But we can trade when you're in the Hounds of Business. If you're not in the Hounds of Business and you're like, I don't care for communities, but I want to be on your people's TV show, you can pay. And the pay is really not that much, guys. Like it's the same thing as what you get now for me for $150 per show for 45 minutes. But this time you get to be amplified everywhere else. So that's what the podcast circuit. Then if you want to be on Mike's show and you're not in the Hounds, then you pay him. If you want to be in Susannah's show, you want to pay her, right? On all of these shows, you can pay for everyone's shows when you want to be in there. But we are a whole podcast circuit that you can go to. And I'm going to teach these people, get this, so we all going to be going big everywhere in your face, how to be on what? Spotify, Audible, Apple, Google. I'm going to make everyone did I just say make? I can't make anybody do nothing. I just stare at you. Yeah, I'm just going to stare at you. I'm going to help them elevate and amplify their message some more because it's fun when I can see people like, yes, you're right here, because I want them to be here with me, not here with me, or not here. Some people are here. I'm like, hey, can you get me? Can you please bring me up, right? Speak up if you need to be there. That is a community that we're building. Come July, we're going to have the book. I'm going to give you, here, get this. I'm going to have a Level Up Circle membership for brand awareness, where literally I will teach you different ways to get your brand out there. And this one is a free class, giving back to my community. Get this, July, which in June, speaking of projects, ADHD moment, I'm going to just bring it out. I'm bringing in the 50 inspirational connections. I'm going to need help, people. Okay, last year I had 120 videos sent to me, and I was so tired doing it on my own. I was literally the only one looking at all the videos because I wanted the rest of the people to kind of be experienced. And then I have someone help me kind of have the reaction. Well, this year I'm going to have any Unsung, if you guys know any. He said yes to me. He's going to help me out in audio rooms and also being on TV and get those reactions. My dear sister Susannah also said yes to me. I need 4 more people to help me with 50 inspirational connections to get there. So here's the thing. If you know people who have inspiring story, it's all about story in business. It's called Story in Business, right? Give me 5 minutes of video. And yes, not 501, not 502, because you're taking up two more seconds with other people. I'm very particular, guys. 5 minutes, exactly 5 minutes on your story and why you start your business, right? And how amazing you are. And some people will actually have felt bad, like, I don't really want to talk about myself because I feel like I'm being selfish. Move beyond that box. Okay, this is a movement that my dear sister Susannah, I actually told her last year, we're going to make it into a movement. Here we are, that planting the seeds. What do you think, sister?
Well, let's add one more piece to this.
Yes.
Don't compare.
Mm.
This is the thing that is going to hold people back. And it's like, stop looking at what somebody else is saying and doing and think, oh, they're better than me. Because here's the thing, what I went through and what CJ went through, I would probably never survive if I tried to live the life that CJ's lived, and she may not be able to survive the life that I've lived. We are in our own situations. We have our own stories for a reason. We have our own experiences for a reason. And they mean so much more than just trying to compare with others. That's one of the problems I've seen with social media is everybody starts comparing and thinking, oh, they're better, or they've got the more depressing story, which I can't compete kind of deal. It's like, no, nothing like that. Take your story, put it out there. It's the same thing we do with our authors in the anthologies. Don't compare your chapter with somebody else because you are a unique human with unique experiences put here for your own purpose. You have a purpose. The same goes for each of these stories and each of these videos that are going to come in.
Yeah, don't compare. I don't like comparison. I could never be 6 foot tall. I can't be as tall as Susannah. Can't be naturally blonde. Bleh. I just there's things I can't do, and guess what? That's what God gave you. So rock with it, roll with it. You want to have a different eyeballs? I have different eyeballs. I wear contact lenses, colored contact lenses. People are like, "Oh my God, CJ, you're on a filter." Girl, filter is free. Go get it. Why are you complaining about my filter? Go get your filter. What's the big deal, right? This is totally me, like dark circle, right? Doesn't matter. Why do you care so much about me? Care about you, right? Do what you're supposed to be. Yes, I am blind. Okay, I can't really see, but I try to be like not too nerdy, so I don't put my glasses on. And I wanted to match my beautiful sister. Like, look at me. I look like a hobo today, but that's okay. I'm rocking it. Like, it doesn't matter.
You've got red on.
What?
Your glasses are red, right?
That's right. That's why I'm like, see, I'm rocking it with red. I mean, I have pink, I have purple, I have white, I have white, I have a lot of glasses, guys. Um, I can see near, but sometimes, I mean, I can see far, but I can't see near, so I can't really read. Like in class when I lecture, sometimes I'm like, so that's why I wear glasses too because I don't want to squint because I'm almost 40. Well, I'll be 46 in 7-Eleven, but I don't have wrinkles yet, right? It's because I don't squint. I literally will like, fine, I'll put my glasses on. I look nerdy today. Does that matter? Because if I can't teach watching what I'm supposed to be teaching, my students will be like, what are you talking about, right? I teach international law right now, and it's a very amazing conversation at 11 a.m. PST. And they're like, so guess what? You know what I put on my class before they come in? I give them the vibe. I'm like, VJs today, guys. We're gonna have Journey today, guys. Elton John, Bruno Mars. I'm like, yes, Dr. Leyland. I'm like, yep. Now let's talk about international business. What's the precedents that we're doing and the statutes? And they're like, oh my God. I'm like, yeah, is that Fifth Amendment or is that Ninth Amendment, right? And these are veterans. They're like retired. They don't want to think about nothing. And I'm like asking them, I'm like, did you know? You served this country. Did you know? Right? It's an amazing conversation, but support is everything. Without support, you are not going to go as fast as you want. Are you amazing on your own? Of course, you're amazing on your own. Are you going to do well on your own? Of course, you're going to do well on your own. But there's days where you're like, ugh, I don't feel like doing nothing. I'm just feeling shitty today. I'm not doing nothing. And then Susanna, I'm like, yeah, I feel like that too. What is going on? I'm like, I don't know. What's in your to-do list? And literally, we checked in on to-do list via text, right? Mike is very good at like, how are you doing today? I'm like, bleh. That's literally what I'll say. And then he'll give me an audio, it's like, what's blah? I'm like, blah. That's literally how I feel right now, right? And checking in, Ollie, thank you for those DMs that you do. You're singing amazing. Sister New, check in like, sis, how are you feeling today? I'm like, I think I'm a cartoon, I swear. My reactions is either bleh, eh, Eh, that's literally my reactions to most people, guys. Now, let's talk about projects on 50 Inspirational Connection, sister. What do you think? What kind of support do you think we need on this project? I mean, you've seen it last year.
I've seen it last year. Um, One of the biggest things is helping get the word out, because if we're looking at 50 and we want to have as many people as possible to get into it and really share their stories, because these stories are so important. And then depending on how many stories come in, it depends on how we want to approach the review of the videos, because that's another piece of it. Let's face it, if you get 50, that's at 5 minutes, that's 250 minutes. So that's like 4+ hours
Then I have to edit.
of straight video, and then you're going into the editing.
I do, and I do edits, and I love edits, and that's what I'm saying. I think I've probably given over 1,000 hours or more for my community for free last year for sure, and I'm bringing it this year. But look at the amount of people that we have created in our circle, right? Look at the amount of support that we also get by giving back. It's reciprocity, and I was big, and I put that words out there since April of last year. Reciprocate, right? And just because you don't see reciprocation right away doesn't mean it's not there, but it's really nice if we actually see it, because quite honestly, it motivates us. There are days we're human being, guys. There are days where I feel like crap. Like today, I feel like crap. And this week is a crappy. I mean, I'm blessed, don't get me wrong, but there's just times where something triggers me and it's really annoying. Right now, it's like the family. Like my family is it's not really a bad thing. It's just like because I'm very old school. So when my kids do something that's something new, I just like, "Ah!" I'm panicking, literally panicking.
That's
And
okay. This morning was a full moon, dear.
oh my God, let me tell you. And I was like, Lord, please help me. I'm really having issues right now. Like, oh my gosh. And so anything that tips my over, like I'm already dealing with this other thing and this other thing and then this other thing. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna dance it off. So I did. I danced it off with Billie Eilish new release today. So I'm just saying. And then I had some Doja Cat. And then I'm like, okay, I need to call Susannah. I'm gonna be late. So I did, right? But here's the thing with support. I have seen Dr. New literally everywhere. I mean, everywhere. Okay, so let's talk about our community right now. And she supports people everywhere,
Hmm.
right? But I also see like there is, I don't know about you guys, but like we don't really, we care, but we don't. How's that? You know, sometimes when you care too much about numbers, it stresses you out. It stresses me out when I care too much about numbers. But numbers is important, okay? When people said, "Oh, I don't really care about impressions or numbers," you do because it gives you here's what where numbers comes from, okay? It literally gives you an idea on how you can pivot and change your strategy. And you're like, I don't have a strategy. Maybe that's the problem. You don't have a strategy, right? You need to have a strategy on how. And here's the thing, it doesn't have to cost you money, but it does cost you time because you're going to actually, time is money, but you can literally say, okay, if I'm doing this and I'm having a lot more things in here, there's something I'm going to do consistently and see if it's going to be consistent support. There's things that I don't do that somehow all of a sudden it just boom, right? And when I do, what I do is I test a lot. You can ask Susannah. I test it on myself to see if it works, and then I tell her, sister, test it if it works. And then she tested it, and she's like, oh my god, it works. I have like all of these. I'm like, see, that's what I'm saying. That's what we do. We constantly are my R&D is in my head. Like I wish I could just take the R&D out of my head and like, guys, can you test it and see if it works? Literally, I feel bad if I give you some homework and I haven't tested it before and it doesn't work. And you're like, it doesn't matter, just give it to me. My personality is stopping that. So what I do is I filter first so that when you get what I have to tell you, I've tested it. And if it doesn't work for you, then you need to see why it doesn't work for you. I do systems checking. I do frameworks. I love to look at frameworks and looking at the problem, but I don't wallow on that problem. I literally see, okay, we have one problem or two problems or three problems. Let's get at least three or four solutions on each of these problems. I focus on the solution, not the problem. Because if you focus on the problem, there's a laundry list of problems. We don't need that. We need three at a time. My brain can handle three at a time, and we're going to do it that way. How do you process your framework, sister?
I'm not nearly as detailed as you. um, I think part of it though for me is I'm still getting used to knowing that I have the ADHD because I've gone all over the place. And quite frankly, if it wasn't for your support and Danielle to sit back and go, hey, I think you have, I, and that's what got me to get it checked because it's easy to say that you have it. It's easy to say that um, what you might need to do. I go all over the place, and that's something that I've had problems with. As much as people can tell me, create this system, create that system, it just didn't happen. I couldn't do it. Now I think I'm at a point where I can start doing it because one, I know that this is a reality. And so it's easier to keep that in mind. It's like if you're taking blood pressure medication or you have to have a blood thinner because of something. And so it's on your mind whenever something could impact it. Well, now I'm starting to get to the point where things that weren't working for me, I think they're going to start working for me now because I know what's the underlying, and I can start creating. I've got a better framework to start creating and start doing things that I was having problems with. And even with the pandemic, that was its own issue. So I'm still kind of recovering from some of that too.
Yeah, we all do. I think we have some social issue for sure and social anxiety in some capacity. I see it. Not just us, like pretty much everywhere and our kids too. So here's the thing, guys. I'm gonna tell you, right? I'm not being cocky. I literally have something in my head that puts everything in folders. I don't know what it is. It's like I have this computer in my head, like you give me a problem and literally my brain is like microcomputers. It's like, oh, so that's a problem. Okay, let's go this file, this file, this file, this file. And then I look at the file, I'm like, okay, where's the solution in here that I've seen before? Okay, great. So then I put that file in this solution, in this solution, in this solution. I'm like, wait, hold on a second. And then I think about it for a minute, percolating my head. I'm like, okay, I'm extrapolating this data and this data that I've seen in this data. Then you're like, okay, fine. Then in 2 seconds I'll give you something else. And the reason I think I can do that, I really self-reflect. I'm like, CJ, are you sure you're human? Hello? Like I keep letting myself. Because it's so weird. I'm weirded out with my own process. I'm like, I am, right? Like I asked my mom too, you did give birth to me, right? Like you saw me like give birth, and she's like, yes. And she's like, why are you asking this question? I'm like, I don't know. It's this journey that I'm going to dig deep in myself because I'm writing my memoir, and I'm like, why am I like this? And yes, I know ADHD, they're different, but I'm like, there's something else. And you know what I realized is because my pursuit of education and academic, I read a lot, guys. And I mean a lot. Put it this way, English as a second language was my thing here. It's English language development when I came to America, right? I couldn't speak English. I would read the dictionary as if it was like a juicy mystery book. I literally would read the dictionary. Then I would have a cassette tape on my ear to enunciate my English so that people could listen and actually understand what the words that are coming out of my mouth. Do I know the meaning? Heck no. I went to the restaurant and I said, I want a dessert, please. With straight face. And the lady's like, I'm sorry, what? I'm like, those cake thing with the white and the white thing. And like, that's how I describe things, by the way. And my husband's like, what? That's how I describe things. And she's like, "Oh, you mean desert?" I'm like, "Yeah, desert, dessert, same thing." My dad's like, "No, sweetie." And he showed me what a desert looked like. So I'm like, "Oh, yeah, no, that's not what it meant, right?" But the thing is, I read a lot. I have so many students, and here's the thing: you're like, "Oh, being a teacher is so cool." Actually, it's not, especially in grading time. Okay, but here's the thing: I learn at a faster pace than most people because I am taking everyone's knowledge and injecting it on my head. I love learning other people's ideas and other people's things. And these people are like the captains, the engineers, the NASA, the NCIS, the FBI, the everything coming to my class because they want to learn this one thing about social media. I'm like, I'll trade you knowledge. Give me it. Give me it. What's chain of command? What? That's why I learn so fast. So when I see a problem, oh, I remember this, right? So I literally have folders for everything in my head, and I literally have a recall because I read a lot. I asked Susannah, she's like, "Sis, can you edit this?" She's probably stressing, like, "Can you do your job, please?" But see, that's the thing with support. She knows how I work. So she
Mhm.
ain't worried. She might be worried a little bit if I slack, but she knows I get it done. I don't ever let anyone down. I get it done. Because I'm quick. It's just, it is. And people are like, "No, you can make mistakes." Of course I make mistakes, but I pride myself on not making one. And that's the reason why I want to help people, right? To get you to where you need to be by homework. And if you didn't get homework from me, that's because either you didn't talk to me or maybe I just don't like you. I don't know. I don't know what the reasons are. What do you think, sister?
Uh, they probably just haven't crossed paths with you yet because homework is always popping up. But the thing that I love about it too is sometimes you give homework without calling it homework. It's just part of the conversation, and something comes up. And again, I'm just going to liken it to planting seeds. Something gets spoken, and whether we both actually realize what was being said or not specifically, the seeds get planted. The next thing you know, it's either, wait a minute, what did you say like 3 days ago? Or you're making notes while during the conversation, and you look at them after the conversation and you go, oh, wait, let me try and build this out again and see what happens with this.
Yeah. One thing you have to do for me, guys, is when you have a conversation with your coffee chat, please get a notebook because I literally will spill out whatever, and then you ask me later on, and you're like, "I don't know, my brain moved on." Like,
Now, that's where we're also the same, because we can spew something, and then we look at each other like, what did
what'd you
we
say?
say?
I don't know.
Wait a minute, we had a great idea. What was it? Did you write it down? I didn't write
That's
it
why
down.
we record conversations, not because we want to be like, "Oh my god," no, because we forget. Oh my gosh, we're already ending. Okay, sister, let's end this with a bang, right? Support the unsung hero in success stories so that you can do business. Okay, here's my advice. If you are on LinkedIn or any social media, I say LinkedIn because I live in LinkedIn, literally LinkedIn land. You don't even have to post. You can like someone's post and they actually look at you and they're like, "Hey, who likes my post?" And they get curious and they look at you. You can also look on people's posts that really speaks to your heart and get a reply and put a reply out. I've been lazy, quite honestly, on my reply. I usually have like this huge 2, 3 paragraphs of my reply most of the time. If you moved my brain and my heart, I will definitely give a reply. But those two things, just those two things, you'll get actually a friend that's curious and a support that's curious. If you're on my DM, I know who you are. There's 5 of you right now DMing me saying, "Hey, Dr. Leland." And then boom, the next conversation before I can respond is, "I have this. Can you help?" I don't know you. I will help you. But I want to make sure that when I drag my name to your name, that you are legit. Okay? Because here's the thing, reputation is everything. And I've worked so hard for my reputation. I'm not about to get that reputation down the tube just because you're pulling my heartstrings. I have a big heart, but don't do me dirty like that because I will drag your name publicly if you did that to me. I will not. right? I tried not to, but if you drag my name that I work so hard, but I have a lot of people like, hey, and don't tell me what to do either. I really hate that.
No.
You need to do this. I'm sorry, what? When did I have another daddy telling me what to do? My dad won't even tell me what to do. Oh my God. My husband tries. It doesn't matter. It won't work. He asks now. He doesn't tell me.
We're the same on that one.
Don't tell me what to do. Just ask me. Ask me. I'm a giver. I do have a lot of things going on, but every single one of you is important. And I love you guys from the bottom of my heart. I see you. Sometimes I don't engage. It's because um, I'm doing something else and my ADHD is like, oh, I'm gonna reply, and then my phone rang and I forgot what I was doing, like literally 2 seconds later, right? It has nothing to do with you. It's me. I love you
Mhm.
guys. Please bother me. CJ, did you forget? I'm like, yeah, actually I did, right? Any last minute thing before we end, sister?
Well, quite frankly, I can reiterate an awful lot of what you just said because it's the same thing for me. And but remember to support. Remember that each of us is different. So I'm going to take us a little bit different direction. Support. You can be hoping that somebody will reach out to you all the time. Those who are more outgoing, those who are more extrovert, they might do that. But those who are more introvert, sometimes it's hard to just reach out to somebody. And remember too, we all have different experiences. So if there's somebody that you really want to connect with, you really want to talk to, don't wait for them to reach out to you. Because one, they may not really know that you're there because there's a lot of activity going on. And two, just because you can have comments in the comments conversations, but also know that sometimes people can be slow to reach out just because of whatever they've gone through. And there's no way to tell who those people are. So if there's somebody you want to reach out to, and it's like, I'm saying this for myself as well, do it. Say hi and strike up a conversation and see where it goes. Because you don't know where that support is.
Yeah.
It's like, and I'll kind of throw one more thing out from my conversation with April yesterday. She talked about how she left a position, told somebody about it, and they were really lukewarm, and she thought they'd be more excited. And so it's like, okay, fine, and you can kind of write that off. But that person spoke to somebody else who spoke to somebody else who was looking for somebody just like what she was doing. You don't know where the path is going to bring you somebody that you could end up working with for decades.
Yeah, you just don't do that and close it. Well, we love you guys. This is our TV show every Thursday at 9 a.m. PST. And Lewis, come talk to me if you do have ADHD. It is actually my chapter on this book, and I'll teach you exactly how I deal with my ADHD. So you can actually get the copy on that one and look at it. But we do have to cut it. This is my last minute. Don't pray for an easy life. Pray for the strength to endure a difficult one. Reach out to Susannah and I if you need anything. Love you guys. Bye. Please subscribe. See you soon.